Hey, in this video, I'll tell you 5 simple habits that are going to help you become fluent in English. I do them every single day and they helped me become fluent. And now I teach other people how to become fluent as well. So the first habit is writing down tasks in English. So if you have all of your tasks in your native language and you write them down in your habit tracker or in your to-do list or in your journal, you're missing out a lot. And let me explain why. So when you have your tasks in your native language, when you want to complete one of these tasks, you're going to be thinking about them in your native language, okay? So it's like if you're literally doing anything in life and you have it in your native language first, if you journal about your health in your native language or you journal about your relationships in your native language, guess what? You're going to be thinking about it in your native language. So if you want to speak fluent English like me, if you want to just have this flawless stream of conversation when you're talking to somebody, right? You want to have everything in English. You want to have all of your devices in English. You want to have all of your habit trackers in English, because if you don't, well, the thing is, you will think about them in your native language. And so it's like when you just have this word. So for example, I have my own to-do list, right? And so everything is in English. And so as soon as I have a task, record a YouTube video. So that's what I'm doing right now. When I have the task, record a YouTube video, I always think about it in English, simply because I have this written down in my notebook in English. So you probably understand that when I have tasks in English, I think about them in English, right? So it becomes a lot easier for me to have conversations with people and have conversations with myself in my head in English. So if you want to start thinking in English, that's what you need to do. Because, in school, my teacher said to me, she was basically lying to me that I cannot think in English. So she said that she cannot think in English, okay? She had a pretty good English, but she couldn't think in English. She said that it's impossible. Only native speakers can think in English. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? It's possible. It's super possible. It doesn't take you a lot of time to just have everything in English, okay? It takes you just a switch, a millisecond switch in your brain, okay? It's like you just have this barrier, resistance towards English, right? You just need to stop this. It takes you literally 1 second to do that and just start writing everything in English. Guess what? You're going to be thinking in English. And as a result, when you think in English, you're going to be speaking better English, right? Let me tell you. And you don't need grammar. You don't need vocabulary. You just need to switch that thing in your brain. And that's how you start thinking in English. Of course, you also need to have a lot of input, watch a lot of videos. But the first thing is to just start doing everything in English. Start writing down even the smallest tasks in English, okay? No native language. So now you're writing everything in your notebook in English. That's great. But the next thing you need to do is to start thinking in English. Because, well, you've been conditioned your entire life. You spend maybe 20 years, maybe 30 years, maybe 40 years thinking in your native language. It's going to be super difficult for you to switch to English, right? It's going to be really difficult to do that. Even if you write down all these different tasks in English, you're still going to be thinking about them in your native language. It's like you will just translate this task to your native language and start thinking about it in your native language, right? So this is really difficult. It's like if you just spend 5 years thinking in your native language, it's like if you're 5 years old, you're still going to be thinking in your native language. It's super difficult, okay? If you spend 10 years, if you spend 20 years, it's going to be extremely difficult for you to switch off to a different language and start thinking in it. So you need to develop this habit. And there are a few ways to do that. So the first one is to start singing music in English. I know maybe that sounds silly. Maybe you don't like music. Maybe you just like listening to instrumental music. But I would really suggest and really encourage you to start listening to music in English. So if you listen to music in English, you will just connect with the singer. You will enjoy the music. You will start having this music in your head playing all the time, right? And after a while, guess what? You are going to sing it, right? And when you're going to sing it, you are going to practice your English. It's better than shadowing, trust me. It's like when you're doing shadowing, you're doing it deliberately. You need to sit down, practice your freaking shadowing, right? It takes a lot of time. It's not intuitive, right? But when you listen to music and then the song is just automatically plays in your head, you don't need to do anything. It's effortless, right? It's like you don't need to apply any effort if you want to practice your pronunciation. The only thing you need to do is to just listen to music, okay? So listening to music is really important, and of course singing it as well. It's a habit as well that you need to develop. So switching like all of your songs, your entire music library to English is gonna help you tremendously, okay? If you really want to have good pronunciation as well as start thinking in English, because sometimes it's like I just rhyme my thoughts. Like I don't know how can I explain it, but when you have a song in your head playing, you just start thinking about this song, right? And guess what? You're gonna start thinking about this song in English, okay? Because the song is in English. And this way you can incorporate English thoughts in your brain by just simply listening to music. And the third habit is weekly lessons. So I structure my own weekly lessons for English learners. And by the way, they're completely free. You can like check the link in the description. So in these lessons, I give two simple tasks: consume and explain. So first you are consuming the information, you're listening to podcasts, you're listening to like a TED talk or a YouTube video or something else, right? And then you are explaining it, you're talking about it. So it's like, if you want to give a speech or if you want to speak fluently about one subject, for example, I don't know, plants. So how to grow plants. This is a pretty cool subject, right? So what you need to do is not to learn plants vocabulary, it's not to like practice your grammar, and it's not to like write 10 essays about plants. No. Like why would you want to do that? Like I'm a lazy person, okay? Like I don't want to spend my time doing that. Okay, I want to spend my time productively. I want to spend like just a few hours doing this, okay? Prepare for this talk, not to spend like thousands of hours. So what you can do in this case is to just simply watch a video about plants, okay? And then talk about plants. That's it. Okay, just like try answering questions about plants, try to talk about what you've learned from this video, try to give like a speech or go on a speaking call or talk with people about this topic, okay? And you are going to become successful talking about plants, and you're going to become fluent in this topic, right? This is super easy. That's what I do every day. It's like, I used to watch a lot of videos about how to improve English in the past, and now I record my own videos, right? Yeah. So, and it's just because I started watching videos first, and then I started practicing recording my own videos. And that's how I was able to have articulate, fluent speech on camera. So it's literally better than Duolingo because you can practice specific topics. Also, you practice more, you practice doing something really interesting. It doesn't take you a lot of time. It's like you're watching a video about plants, educational video about plants with funny pictures, funny GIFs. Like, I don't know, you just find some video about plants on the internet or an article, right? And it's more enjoyable to read it than to like complete 10 tasks in Duolingo, right? And it's like when you complete those 10 tasks in Duolingo, you're not going to learn anything, right? So this is really important, okay? If you want to really nail down your fluency, you just need to. And if you are an entrepreneur, a teacher, or a person who likes to talk about self-improvement or any of these subjects, you can check out the weekly lessons down below that I've structured for you. They're completely free, so you can just check them out, do the exercises, and you're going to improve your English. So the next habit is checking definitions. So when I started checking definitions instead of translating words from English, that's when I started making progress, okay? So it's like when you are translating words from English to your native language, you're going to remember the word in your native language, right? You're going to remember the translation of the word. So it's like you will have one network in your brain, and this network is just going to connect all the words together in one place, right? So it's like you'll have words in your native language, in English, and they're going to be connected together, right? They're going to be interconnected. But what you really want is not one single big network, but two separate ones, right? I have just like one fist. I don't have the second one, but it's like you need to have two separate networks. You need to have your native language and English as well. And when you have two networks, that's when you can speak both languages fluently, right? You're not going to switch between languages. You're not going to translate in your head. You're not going to think in your native language. You're going to think in English, and you can just switch between these two easily, right? Without a problem. And so the only thing you need to do, like not the only thing, of course, you need to do like the first two habits, but this habit is really important because if you translate words from English to your native language, you're not going to become fluent because you're just going to have like big network of words, and they're going to be connected together, and it's going to be like a big mess, okay? So it's like when you check definitions, you're just strengthening the second network, the English network, because, well, you check the definition in English, you understand the definition in English, you understand what this word means in English itself. And so when you do that, guess what? You are going to grow your network of English, right? It's going to become bigger and the words are going to be connected together. And as a result, you will be able to use all these words. Awesome, right? So it's like checking definitions is a good habit. You just go to Google or to ChatGPT and ask it to give you the definition of the word, I don't know, like definition, definition of definition. It's like if you don't understand. And so when you do that, it's like a good habit. It's a positive habit because it helps you to speak English better. But when you are translating, it's a bad habit because it helps you to translate from English to your native language, right? Why do you want to do that, right? You're not a translator. You just want to start speaking in English fluently, flawlessly, give presentations, go on speaking calls, go on sales calls, maybe create your own YouTube channel and start making videos or make your own vlog, right? Or something. So what you really want is to just speak, right? You don't want to translate words. So please just check definitions instead of translations. And you're going to thank me later, okay? And the fifth habit was super important for me because, well, I'm an introvert. I was an all-time introvert and it was super difficult for me to talk with people. But the thing is, English is all about being an extrovert, right? It's like you want to practice your English and you want to do that with people. If you just do it by yourself with ChatGPT, of course you're going to make progress, right? But the progress is not going to be as significant as talking to people. Because every time you go on a speaking call or you go and speak with somebody, right, online, it's like, oh, I just forget all vocabulary. I don't know what to say. It's so difficult to speak to people, but when you talk to ChatGPT, it's like, oh, hello, man, how are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's so easy for you to talk with ChatGPT because, well, you're an introvert, okay? As soon as you stop doing that, as soon as you start talking to people, that's when you become fluent, literally, right? You're not becoming fluent by talking with ChatGPT. You're becoming fluent by talking with real people. And it's going to be super easy for you to talk with people. You're going to feel like an extrovert. You will be able to express yourself differently, right? So just start doing social activities. For me, it's hopping on random calls. So it's like I have a community. I have my own community where I just hop with people on random calls and I talk with them in English, how I can help them improve their English. Also, I go on calls with native speakers. I ask them like questions. Sometimes, the native speakers are above me, so they're like doing some business stuff. They're YouTube content creators and stuff like that. And so I can learn a lot from them. And so I just practice my English at the same time. So it's like I'm learning from them, all these different cool stuff, right? And I'm also practicing my English. So you want to do the same thing. You want to practice your English with real people. Because, well, if you just practice with ChatGPT for 2 years and then you try to talk with a real person, it's like, I forgot how to speak English. So please start practicing with real people and that's going to help you become fluent. So yeah, this is the last habit that you need to do. And I think these 5 habits are going to make you fluent. So if you really like this video, comment down below what is your favorite habit, subscribe, and also check out the weekly lesson down below as well. So yeah, I see you in the next video. Bye-bye.